Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about keeping our carbohydrate intakes as high as we possibly can. And quite frankly, this is something you see most of the best experts out there who actually do lift, who do have tons of clients, even competitive bodybuilders who compete. This is the sort of advice they generally give. And I know of multiple people with advanced degrees in nutrition who even prep bodybuilders who all say this, who get people absolutely shredded. And I want to state with a caveat though, for some reason, every time we make this statement, some complete fucking idiot jackass chimes in with, all carbohydrates aren't equal. Are you saying we should be eating table sugar? And as someone who puts out information, there's a point where when someone says something that fucking stupid, and I'm going to start being a dick about this, so I think it's just amusing at this point. I'm going to quit holding back. When a person says something that fucking stupid and they think that I'm talking about table sugar when I'm telling you to eat more rice and potatoes, that they can't differentiate between refined fructose and watermelon or rice, that they automatically think that that's what I'm talking about, that person is probably too stupid to even count calories anyways, right? They're probably functioning at such a load mentally, they probably can't count their reps when they're doing curls. They probably can't count calories. So there's a point where I just don't even respond to these people because it just blows my mind that when we discuss carbohydrates, in the context of eating for health and eating for body composition and performance, that anyone's brain even goes in that direction. Because it's obvious that's not what we're talking about. And to even think that that's what someone's talking about, you're just stupid. Just realize that if that's where your brain went, it might be time for you to just not voice opinions in general, because that's obviously not what we mean. We're talking about eating mostly whole foods. Now, in the case of some people, that might be white rice, which isn't a whole food, but it's still a pretty benign carbohydrate. But when I'm talking about this, I mean, getting reasonable amounts of fiber, eating whole grains, eating fruit. Hey, this is what I mean by carbohydrate sources, eating root vegetables. Okay? That's what we're talking about because the fiber intake matters. Fiber intake matters. But the thing that people need to remember at the end of the day, I had a pretty successful lean bulk this last year. And everyone noted, did you lose fat? Did you cut? No, I did a lean bulk on very, very low fat, and I ate enormous amounts of carbohydrates in the form of whole foods. Okay? I didn't gain any body fat. Now that I've been cutting, I'm obviously getting leaner. People are saying you're the leanest we've ever seen you in a relatively short time, not even losing much weight, and continuing to cut. But the point here, carbohydrates are not stored as fat in humans to any appreciable degree. And when they are, it's not under your skin. So whenever this whole topic of de novo lipogenesis comes up, this has been studied heavily in the lab. You do need to be aware, not only is it not an efficient pathway and it's stored at a very low rate, it tends to be kind of in the visceral area. You're not storing it under your skin. Or it's being used for certain metabolic purposes, meaning some de novo lipogenesis is how we get hormones. It's how we get the cholesterol for hormones. Everyone will say, oh, you got to have all this fat in your diet or you won't optimize your hormone production. But the same people will stand there and talk about your body making lipids out of excess carbohydrate. Once you realize that's one of the pathways by which it does it, that's where you get a lot of those hormones. But let's come over to the other point. Insulin. As long as your fiber's good, you're training hard, you're gaining muscle, you're not going to be insulin resistant, almost irrespective of extremely high carbohydrate intakes. So insulin resistance is not an issue, therefore it's not a body fat concern. So people with high amounts of insulin sensitivity, insulin is extremely anabolic to muscle tissue. All right, this will feed your muscles, not your fat. We have the training fuel component. But factor in the fact that this elevates hormones that are directly related to muscle building. All right? And it's not stored as body fat. All right, so number one, high carbohydrate wins. What about testosterone? This is the thing. Everyone chimes in with this all the time. Oh, we need these sex hormones. And for women, it's estrogen, by the way. Estrogen is just as anabolic as testosterone. For some reason, people miss the memo on that. But these hormones that facilitate this. All right, so set aside the production. What about free testosterone? Carbohydrate and insulin do what? They lower SHBG, which increases free testosterone. Oh, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, we have now, by doing this, elevated two separate hormones that are directly related to building muscle tissue. Right? And we've done so by adding a form of calories that cannot be stored readily or easily as body fat in humans. Right? This is an all-around win. How about we start talking energy turnover, metabolic rate? What else do carbohydrates do? One of the things that we notice with carb overfeeding, another thing that it bypasses in the ability to store it as fat is the fact that it increases thyroid output. Right? It can also increase the conversion of T4 into T3, your active thyroid, speeds up metabolism. Higher thermic effect. Again, your body has very effective means of disposing of this, of disposing of excess carbohydrate in a manner that is oftentimes conducive to gaining more muscle. Right? This is an all-around win. And the same thing when we start trying to lose body fat. By keeping insulin levels and insulin response robust, we preserve muscle tissue better. Right? We create a more anabolic environment when in a calorie deficit. We also maintain better muscle fullness in a calorie deficit. We also have better training fuel in a calorie deficit. All right, carbohydrates are an absolute win here. They're an absolute win. We need to keep them as high as possible if our goals are body composition. And then the other thing, let's talk longevity. I'll briefly discuss this. What culture has historically had the highest longevity in the world? The Okinawans. Their diet was 80% carbohydrate. Just throwing that out there. What society had the highest fat intake? The Inuits. Their average life expectancy is below average, while on their traditional diet. I think that pretty well sums it up. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.